Hello, how are you today? I am Dr. Ben Quinones of the Asian Solidarity Economy Council. I would just like to take a short moment to address some of the pressing questions raised by participants of the May 2 session. Social solidarity economy is built on collective action. On this topic, there were a number of questions asked. How do we build trust among individuals? How do we convince people to join, become less individualistic, and join the collective? Can this small collective be scaled up or can they grow big? Actually, all of us were born into a collective. We call that collective the family. The family is really the first self-help group of society. It is from the family that we learn to trust. We first learn to be loved and accepted and respected, to also love, be accepting, and to respect and be compassionate. The family is the first self-help group where we learn to be interdependent with each other. Think together, act together, work together, move forward together. In other words, solidarity is not foreign to us. We know Bekerja Sama, Gotong Royong in Indonesia, Bayanihan in the Philippines, Tamnganday Kan in Thai, Igsat Kamkaro, Hindi. Solidarity is embedded in our culture, starting with the family, the first self-help group. Regarding the size of SSE enterprises, there are micro, small, medium, and large SSE enterprises. The distribution by size follows the distribution pattern of enterprises in our respective countries. In the Philippines, 91.6% of all enterprises are micro enterprises. 8% are small and medium enterprises, and only 0.4% are large enterprises. But large enterprises capture the bulk of national income. Around two-thirds of the micro and small enterprises belong to the informal sector. Most are operated by home-based workers or the family self-help group. Similarly, the bulk of cooperatives in the Philippines are micro and small. But we do have multi-millionaire cooperatives and multi-billionaire cooperatives. This provides some proof that while majority of ECC organizations are micro and small, they can grow into large multi-billionaire enterprises. We don't even have to mention the Mondragon Corporation, a very large corporation and federation of workers' cooperatives based in Basque region of Spain. When we say home-based workers, they are workers of the informal economy. It means they do not belong to the mainstream economy that is dominated by large for-profit companies. They generate income, but hardly could they obtain a surplus because most of their income are spent on family consumption. Unlike large for-profit companies, these large companies can retain their surplus and use it for expanding their businesses. So the question is, do these informal home-based enterprises belong to social solidarity economy? If they are not organized for purposes of access to productive resources, they will remain socially excluded and marginalized, and even not connected to social solidarity economy. So it's important to organize them, develop their value chains, and enable them to have access to productive resources. When we say develop their value chains, it also means consolidating their individual micro small enterprises into collective ECC enterprises. Like what HomeNet Pudosos Cooperative has done. HomeNet Producers Cooperative is a cooperative owned and operated by home-based workers who are still operating in the informal economy. Finally, the question of what type of economy is social solidarity economy. Is it capitalist or socialist? The fact is, the economies of most countries can be called mixed economies. In a mixed economy, there is a capitalist sector dominated by for-profit companies, and there is a state-controlled sector represented by the government. The state is a not-for-profit organization. Its role is to redistribute wealth and provide social protection to the citizens. This implies that the state has some kind of socialistic role, which is wealth redistribution. The for-profit sector and the state sector largely comprise what we call the formal economy. Connected to this formal economy, while operating outside its legal parameters, is the informal economy, where home-based workers and their family self-help groups predominate. So, if the value chains in the informal economy are organized and integrated with the small and medium enterprises for profit in the enterprises in the formal economy, and with the mission to put people and planet over and above profit, what kind of economy will be the result of this integration? And what we are going to call it? Any answer is correct. You can call it anything. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the linkage between the value chain of informal economy and the small and medium enterprises, which are for profit in the formal economy, including the cooperatives, workers' organizations, people's organizations, development NGOs, microfinance NGOs. This linkage will benefit the greater portion of the country's population and ensure that the environment will be protected and conserved. Yet, there are people in the world who will call such socio-economic arrangement the social solidarity economy.